Destroy every multiversion on me till I be the one. You be the one. Think it's that easy to say the world? I do the work. Unlike Jerry, I never curl. In a fetal position, my feet in position to stand on business. I mean, my footsteps in the sand. When you think of this nigga, be thou holy, but not holier than thou. 2 fish, 5 loads, what would feed 5,000 miles? Come with me. I'll head a key nation, run quick, see. What do we have here now? Do you wanna ride with ya? Yeah. One man, many members, now this gang. Banging on the big bang. Christ reign, without him, nothing made. Gotta have the mind of Christ to get ahead. That's my issue. Gotta treat your body like the gym. Ether, escape the people living dead like a zombie. Sex, drugs, party, a life ungodly. United we stand, divided we fall. In spite of me, saving my arm, I cut my hand off. We are the not the chest. Let me back. Mouth can never say to the ear, I don't need you. A prophet never stepped in his own home. Hold the phone, the son can say the word, you wouldn't know, cause you don't play the song.
An unaccepted prophet has to undermine the fallacy and keep the sun in mind by bringing balance to the galaxy. His duty as a sacrifice will forever sadden me. Imagine as we magnify the beauty of his majesty. America is a terror and catastrophe. They underrate my good and throw parades for the bad in me. Gotta be the light that illuminates the dark corners of the hood where wolves dress as sheep and bark on them. This ain't the jungle, this that zoo life where they encourage you to gang bang, slang drugs and shoot dice, aim guns. That 2 lives taken no matter who's right. One in the system and one is gone. You gotta move wise like a Mashiach and the 12 when they were big stepping, holding up the weight of the world like they were bench pressing, hip flexing, spiritual swords. I'm talking big weapons, walking with the fear of the Lord, killing and witch catching. We suffer not, want to live, let them all burn. You enslaved our people, war extend, now it's your turn. The prophecy that was spoken has come upon, learn to service the chosen, not temporary but long term. Will change some things and reign supreme. The bloodline of the Messiah is a dangerous creed. They hate us cause they can't contain our seed. We created and dominate everything. We were made to lead.
Do you know just how good my God is? I'm so thankful, thank God I got this. He's so great, that I'm his, and I promise that he is so
Where you thought I would be? They left me up in the trap, all they had was a key. But God is good, how he saved me from water that deep. I know the shepherd never strays too far from his sheep, no indeed. He may not come when you call him though, but he always on time like the morning show. That's why I praise him like I'm singing in the high note. And I give thanks, I'm the 12 that he died for. Rose from the valley full of dry bones, now every day I'm fighting for the kingdom.
Never wanting you to let me go, especially when they turn up and try to get me to forget who I am in you. It be like they want me dumb when it come to you, always trying to keep me silent like that 0-2 whenever I speak up on behalf of you. And that's just how they did Yahusha. When a fairy talk, they try to fool you. When the Sadgies speak, they try to pull your triggers. The holy of the Ruach in them not. Got that head knowledge, but spirit in them rot. Got that book knowledge, but understanding clouded. And while the spirit is willing, my soul be hitting sinners. I cry to you in the spirit that help me manage my feelings. Be growing weary and well doing. Cause they be out here testing me, going through it. I'm looking for your word to come through, pulling scriptures where you promise me now.
Tell us we should be quiet, or else it's gonna get violent. But I'm giving praise to the highest, and I got words for these giants. So tell them put me on speaker, don't put me on silent. I said put me on speaker, Don't put me on silent.
Yeah. Mouthpiece in the last days. Frankincense in my ashtrays. Maintaining peace even after these plagues. I pray for divine wisdom, it came with my age. It's a lot of spiritual predators, Bible editors, Elohim competitors. Fast food for thought, confused off of what they fed to us. But in the wilderness, we moving off the cloud ahead of us. I told you in the song, fall away what was dead to us. We the temple, he the strong tower, no other edifice. My lady and I are talking, leaving, and they all scheming. Cause we start poking holes in the doctrine of demons, making the people think if y'all said it, he mean it, and study for themselves. So
They
it's no
tell us we
question
should be quiet. Us is gonna get violent. But I'm giving praise to the highest. And I got words for these giants. So tell them put me on speaker. Don't put me on silent. I said put me on speaker. Don't put me on silent. They tell us we should be quiet. Us is gonna get violent. But I'm giving praise to the highest. And I got words for these giants. So tell them put me on speaker. Don't put me on silent. I said put me on speaker. Don't put me on silent.
And that's just how they did Yahusha. When a fairy talk, they try to fool you. When a Sadie speak, they try to pull your triggers.
All right, what's going on with my background? That was not like that at first. Did I freeze up? I didn't. You get it together. There it is. There it is right there. All right. All right. We're looking better now. Shalom, family. Shalom. We are back off of a 2-week vacation. And as you can see, I may still be on vacation a little bit right now, but not how you doing.
I was doing all right, but it looked like you done messed with some stuff. So now I gotta regroup over here.
Oh, I don't know what I did. Okay, I do.
Fine.
I do apologize. But yeah, welcome to the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. We are back. We got some good stories, news, whatever it is, however it is you want to look at it. We got it. Some bangers tonight. We want to keep our brother Ayob Ben Yahoo, the co-host of the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. We keep him and his family in prayer. They were affected with a hurricane that went through the East Coast this last week. I have been talking to the brother over the time. He and the family are in great spirits. They got things that they do need to take care of, and so coming back tonight was not in the cards for him, but myself and Bernard Shalahaya, she is here. We are going to do the best that we can to get this news out to the family. So with that being said, shalom, and let's get ready for a good show. But not how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Today was a doozy. I always come in last minute. Day of the show, I come in and tidy up a few things, but it wasn't in the cards. Today I got turned around a couple of different times. A few things that came up that didn't allow me to make it home as soon as I would like to have. So I had to put a rush on a few things, but all praises to the Most High. I actually got it done. I'm just still a little, frazzled a little bit because, I like to come in, settle down, and
right.
ease into it. But it's all good.
All right. All praises. Yeah. Without monkey wrenches being thrown at us, man, what would life be? So,
right there.
Yeah, exactly. So I see Jamil is in the chat. Jamil the Trunk Rattler, shalom, my brother. Yameh is in the chat. Shalom. Welcome back. Turn up turn up the lights, the Light Hebrew magazine, the freshest, the dopest, the baddest magazine in the land of the Hebrews. We want to thank you, sister, for the work that you are doing, and that, hey, like I always tell you that you are the hardest working lady in the nation. So, and also she will be here with us next week. Yeah, she'll be here with us next week. So shalom. And for those who are not in the chat, we would like to say welcome as well. If you guys don't mind, could you make a notification on Facebook as well that we are live? We normally be on Ayob's page. We wasn't able to stream live on Facebook tonight. So if you could just let it be known that we are already live and that we are back, we would truly appreciate that. But with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Bernard, and we're gonna get the Truth Be Told Flex podcast going.
All right, here we go. So just a few announcements. Not really. Well, we do have a couple of upcoming events, but just a few little announcements to kind of ease us back into the groove of things. First one being the new edition of the Light Hebrew magazine is out. And if you can see by the cover, it has Obadiah Yahoo on the cover, representing his new album, Beauty for Ashes, is out now. Go check it out. It is very different. I like it. I appreciate the music. It's not your typical music that you're necessarily going to hear on, obviously, mainstream. But it has a very unique touch to it. So I've had an opportunity to listen to it. I really enjoyed it. So I encourage you guys to go check that out when you get a chance. Definitely go online and check out the magazine, or better still, place your order. Go online and place your order for the magazine.
Obadiah is an artist, and you could tell in his music he is
correct.
Yeah, he is an artist. My understanding, I believe the brother plays at least 5 different instruments.
So you know who he kind of reminds me of? Not so much that he has the same type of music as him, but Andre 3000, he's very different in that regard. He doesn't.
There is no box that you could put him in.
Perfect word choice. He does not fit in a box.
Right.
Per se. You can't box him in.
Right.
If you want a little R&B, he can do
got
that.
It.
You want a little country,
he got it.
Do that. You want
Some
a little classical,
he got it.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Obadiah.
Go check him out.
Yeah, when he on the show, I'm gonna wear my cowboy hat. He ain't gonna be the only one sitting up.
No. Let him have it. Let him have that lane by himself, sir. There's not enough vehicles, not enough lanes. Vehicles. All right, so advertising and promotions available at the Light Hebrew magazine. If you haven't had an opportunity to check it out, please go check it out. There's all different types of things that you can advertise. You go to www.tlhmagazine.net to contact them to let them know what you would like to advertise, whether it be you have a business, you have a new album coming out, you have public relations, things that you do, a project that you're about to launch. Reach out to them and let them advertise for you. Next up is this one is a little odd. For those of you who don't know, for a little while, I know I wasn't aware immediately. I just know I went to my Apple Music to try and listen to Eyes to the East, and it was gone. Like, I thought something was like I hadn't paid my subscription, but I could hear all the other music, so I wasn't sure really what was happening. But happy to say that it is back up. So if you're trying to stream and listen to Eyes to the East, you can absolutely do that. But just a little bit, from my understanding, his music was pulled from a couple of different streaming platforms, and Apple Music was one of them. I know you have a little bit more insight on what happened. You want to kind of share what you know?
Yeah, actually, what was going on with Hezekiah and this album Eyes to the East, it was both a blessing and a curse at the same time. All praises to the Most High, though, that, like you said, his music is back up. and streaming, but this is the deal. Truth music for real is in its own genre. It's in its own lane right now. And those who control music, they are not controlling this set apart group of artists.
Right.
And when Eyes to the East hit, and I don't know if you guys have listened to Eyes to the East yet, but this is probably one of the most spiritual albums that I have heard. To me, it goes beyond just truth music in the norm of what it is that you know that we are used to, that we are accustomed to. With Eyes to the East, like I've said before, you can worship to it, you can work out to it, you can work to it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Do your work to it. There are a lot of different things that you can do with Eyes to the East, but it's always going to bring you back to getting you closer to the Father. He talks about Jerusalem. He talks about the love that the Father has for us, and he also talks about the Ashkenazis in this particular album. And so it's too much truth coming out at one time. And so the music industry, what they want to do is they want to control the music. They want to control the voices. Look, this guy was number 9 in the world with Eyes to the East when it came out, which means that it was being streamed by way more than just us as Hebrews. Right. They had to try to figure out what they can do to get to him. And so we needed to keep our brother Hezekiah in prayer. We're going to actually do, Ayob and myself, we're going to come back. We're going to do a whole show on Eyes to the East and Hezekiah. We're going to dedicate it to him. We're going to talk about what was happening to him. Not only to him, I got wind also that our brother Zamir, Israel, he is going through the same thing as well. And so, like I say, it's a blessing and a curse. And what makes it a blessing is because you got to be speaking some truth.
Absolutely.
If you ruffling feathers, and what makes it a curse is that these brothers have to go through that. So we're going to keep these brothers, and all they need is one to turn. So brothers, if y'all are making truth music out there, stand 10 toes deep. Stand 10 toes deep and do not let the giants scare you. Remember who your power is. But yeah, we're going to get into Hezekiah, Eyes to the East, and all praises that his music is back up on the streaming units. Yeah.
All right, next, our brother Jubilee Holiday. If you don't know anything about him, you know he is all about uplifting and helping the community. He has something called Hoodies and Hope. It's to help spread warmth and hope this coming winter. I believe he's based is in Arlington. He's based out of. Okay. So Dallas gets a little bit colder than it does in Houston and some other places. Even though it's down south, it's still pretty cold. But I like what he does, which is he normally does sleeping bags, gives out some bags that have some personal need items in it. But this is a little bit different. So he's asking to help collect unisex clothing and essential items, which are hoodies of all sizes, socks, gloves, hats, and scarves, toiletries, and then of course his number one thing is either blankets or sleeping bags. So this is where you can go to donate. It is at Jubilee Holidays. You can cash out. That's his
QR code.
Yeah, his QR code is on there. And Wednesday, December 11th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Cornerstone Church. And this is again in Irving, Irving Street, Building B.
Is that in Irving? Is that downtown Dallas? Irving? Is that going to be in Irving? Okay. I'm not entirely sure.
I'll find out for sure next week because I'm gonna post this again up until the date. So
if Delta is in the chat, she could probably clarify that for us.
She'll be here next week too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But if nothing else, if you can't go and donate, at least hit up his Cash App and send a donation.
So look, that's what the real tithes is right there too. Absolutely. Man. Taking care of those who cannot take care of themselves. Yep. All praises for that. Yep.
All right. So here we go. We got a little bit of sports to talk about today.
Downtown Dallas. That's what I was thinking. That's Thursday, downtown Dallas.
Okay.
Yep.
Little sports to talk about today. So college. Colorado played, was it UCF?
Yeah, University of Central Florida. Yeah.
UCF last week, and they pulled out a doozy of win over them. So what were your thoughts on the game overall, besides Travis Hunter's performance? Because that's usually a hot topic on this one, but what were your thoughts overall on this?
Well, like you said, it was just an awesome win for Colorado. I don't know, for those who haven't been following it, white people is what's caused me to get on board as much as I have with Colorado. I'm going somewhere with this, man. Colorado going into this game against Central Florida, no commentator in college football gave Deion and Colorado a chance. I did a special on my Mo Talk channel, and one of the things I was saying is that they confuse Deion's confidence with arrogance. And
he's been saying that.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, Deion is going to do what he do. I was proud of him and Colorado. I want to see them continue to do what it is that they're doing, because the more they win, the madder they're going to be. But when you do what they're doing, you're going to have to give them their respect. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a great win against Central Florida. I believe the way Central Florida played, I think that they came in thinking that they were just going to win as well. And Travis Hunter is arguably probably the best player in college football right now. That's just my opinion.
For those of you who don't necessarily know or don't follow football like that, he plays on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
That's difficult. That is unheard of.
Right.
You'll find that in Pop Warner, you'll find it in junior high.
Right.
Every now and then you might find it.
But when you get up in that higher level,
college,
yeah.
One of the things I can appreciate though is what I understand is that probably why UCF really thought that they were going to come in and win this game is Colorado's rushing game improved.
Oh yes,
they had 128 yards on the ground.
Yes.
When your rushing game improves,
right.
I understand.
Right.
I don't play football, but I understand that's huge.
Right.
So,
when you can run the football, you can begin to start dictating, the rest of the game. Yep, most definitely.
Yeah. All right. So there was another big game. Did you have something else on this one? Okay. Another big game this week was I guess I didn't put it in there. Any rate, it was Alabama.
Alabama, Georgia. Yep.
Played Georgia, and they had I guess you could say a big win, because up until what was it, late in the fourth quarter, somewhere in the fourth quarter, Georgia was going to win that thing,
right?
And all of a sudden, Alabama pulled it out. So that was a pretty big game as well. I think a lot of people were betting on Georgia to win that game.
No, I thought Georgia was down the majority of that game. Alabama came in and smacked them in the mouth. Georgia made a game out of it in the fourth quarter.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, Georgia made a game out of that in the fourth quarter. Okay. Alabama came in there and smacked them in the mouth. It don't look like Alabama has missed a beat. You know what I'm saying? Georgia was number one. Alabama came in and they took care of their business. Yeah, that was a super huge game. Okay. Yeah, super huge game.
My bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in other news, NFL.
What's that boy name?
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
This is one to follow for sure.
Yeah.
This young man played with some poise.
Yeah.
He has a very classy way about carrying himself. He plays well under pressure.
Right. I hate that he's in the NFC East. I actually asked Bernard to bring him up because he, like she said, he does need to be talked about. He's in that NFC East, which means we're going to have to watch this. We're going to have to see this boy twice a year, every year. He's going to make it real interesting. One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about him is because for so long, the NFL has tried their best to keep black quarterbacks from shining. Man. And the way the game has evolved to the point now that not only do you have to allow these cats to play, white boys are now having to try to catch up to their level of play.
Right.
And this is what I'm liking about it. They went as far as to used to say that we didn't have the aptitude to play that that position. You know what I'm saying? And now when you look at the game is starting to be taken over, and they are more than what they thought that they can be. These boys are real quarterbacks who can stand in the pocket and can deliver that ball and take command of a team. This is a young guy that's with the Washington Commanders, and he is somebody to look forward to, and he's going to make it real interesting in the NFC East. Yeah, so yeah, props to, what's his name again? Yeah, I ain't gonna remember it. It's gonna take me about 4 years to remember, because he in the NFC East, you know. Yeah, and that's the last good thing that I'm gonna say about him. I never say nothing that's good about that brother.
Oh my. Well, one of the things that I understand about Jaden Daniels and probably the majority of black quarterbacks is they tend to be dual threats.
Yeah,
they're not just passers; they're
rushers.
They can run the ball.
Right, we got that
well.
twitch. What they call it, that twitch muscle.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think with him having that ability, him being very poised, as young as he is, he does. I do know that there are some things that he's going to have to work on, and that is his long game. Mm-hmm. He's not as precise when he goes long, so that's one of the things he's going to have to definitely work on. And then when he has really good defensive teams, he does get a little bit frazzled. So, well, again, somebody to watch, keep your eye on. Bless his heart, he's in the wrong division, wrong side.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, moving right along, I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. I have to talk a little bit about the WNBA. I know you've been over it. Don't have any pictures to share. I just still have to put it out there for all those people who are Caitlin Clark fans. I'm not saying that she is not a great player, but I am proud to announce she is still an offer.
Yes, when it
comes to championships. You can give her all the accolades you want to. She can break all the records she wants to as a rookie, shooting records, whatever it is.
Individual records, MVP. She ain't bringing no hardware home.
She still is an offer when it comes to championships.
Yep.
I'll rest on that. But that being said,
WNBA is 0 for 4 right now, right? 0 for 3 or 0 for 4? 0 for 3, 2 in college, 2 in college, and now,
it don't matter how many, she's still an offer. She's still an offer. But the WNBA is in their semifinals right now with the last 4 teams competing, and that's New York Liberty and Las Vegas Aces. They're duking it out right now with Liberty leading the series 2-0. And then Connecticut Sun is playing the Minnesota Lynx. So I'll be honest, I haven't really followed a whole lot of the WNBA.
That WNBA, man, it's too Babylonian-ish for me to even enjoy it. As much as I'd like competition, man, that's just not a place that's.
I always, I'm gonna keep that one to myself. Yeah. All right. So talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. It's a lot of interesting stuff out right now. Too much to actually probably for us to even ever tackle or grab. But if you don't know who this is what's his name, Lubusi Bade, and his daughter who happens to be homosexual. And if you don't know him, then let me tell you, he openly rejects who his daughter is and what she claims to be in terms of her sexuality, and people give him a lot of grief for it. What I find most interesting, besides the fact that he stands 10 toes down on what he believes, he loves his daughter, but she's not allowed at his house with her so-called significant other. And people are giving him grief about that because he chooses not to have her in his house and he chooses not to accept it. So we always hear Dave Chappelle refer to the alphabet community as bullies, and that's exactly what it is. They've been online and going back and forth talking about how ridiculous it is, and he's a horrible person because he won't just accept who his daughter loves. How you mad at somebody for what they believe in? Right. They're calling him, besides homophobic, there was another term that they were using for him, but
they done made up another word.
No. They weren't. They didn't make up another word. But they were basically just saying he was.
These jokers will make up a word in a heartbeat, like
that is true.
Yeah,
that is true. But I just thought it was interesting how much grief they given him about the relationship he has with his daughter and what he believes in.
Right.
I just hope he doesn't fold. I hope they don't break him and,
Right.
and force him to accept something that he really truly in his heart does not want to accept.
Right.
So, did you have?
And that's the thing too, that even if he does fold, that's all they be wanting to see, because they'll know as loud as he been about rejecting it, that if he come and be like, I was wrong, everybody and their mama know that he only doing that because, you know what I'm saying, because the pressure got to him, because you can't feel that strongly about something and then come back. And all they want to hear is a submission. So yeah, I'm like you, I hope he don't. I don't think that he will. You know what I'm saying? He a different breed of dude. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
He's a different breed of dude. I don't think that he will. And you know, his daughter got that love right back for him. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and hey, you need to have more parents like him. To me, he's a trailblazer.
Right, agreed. All right. This guy.
I think he lying. Point blank.
Can I put it out there first?
Yeah, okay.
So
nothing wrong with that, man.
Brett Favre, ex-NFL player. He was the one involved in doing some scamming as it relates to what is it called? It is government funding for. Was it? Oh God, I can't remember.
It wasn't housing development. It was
it wasn't housing development, but it's basically government funding for the poor, for the disadvantaged.
Right.
He was taking money to help build a volleyball
that his daughter
arena that his
college
daughter, at the alma mater he went to, and his daughter currently or was attending at the time, and then they have him on tape saying, or on phone record saying, are they going to be able to trace back any of this money, right? So to some degree, he has tried to make restitution and pay back some of the funds. He hasn't paid back all of it, and it was in the like $4 million or so, maybe a little bit more than that. He has made some efforts to pay some of this money back, but doesn't feel like he should pay all of it back. But the other sad part of this is he was in a hearing before Congress, and he announced that he had Parkinson's disease.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. He knew he had Parkinson's in January. He put this in his back pocket to play this card at this time because he knew he was going to have to use this at some point.
Right.
And if you pay attention to any of the headlines at the time that this story broke, they completely forgot about the money that this man took.
Right.
And only talked about the fact that poor Brett Favre has Parkinson's.
Right.
Poor, miserable situation for him. Oh, we feel so sorry for him. What about the people that he took all that money from? You didn't hear anything about it. The whole thing became about Brett Favre and his Parkinson's diagnosis. So,
YT privilege at its finest.
Indeed. So Iran is preparing imminent missile attack on Israel because of what they did. So just keep your ears and your eyes open. More is definitely to come. This war is not slowing down anytime soon.
Pay attention to Iran.
Yeah, keep your eyes on them. They are not playing. They are highly upset about this. And then the last little thing I wanted to throw out there. No, this isn't the last thing. I do have one other thing. Did you listen to any of the debate last night?
I did.
What were your thoughts on the debate?
It was civil. They sounded like two grown men talking. I think I put a post up that how can the vice presidents sound more, I forgot how I put it, but how is it that the vice presidents, how can they sound more suitable for the job than the presidential candidates, you know? Yeah, so regardless to which one of them it is that you want to go for, that was a debate last night. That's what a debate was. They was cordial to each other. They both stood on their grounds. They both said what they had to say, but there was, you know, it wasn't a crap show. Right.
It wasn't. I feel like, and I said this, not that I paid enough attention to be able to like, ooh, now I know, you know, what I want to do. Now I know who I'm rooting for. I'm not rooting for either one of them, but at the end of the day, if this is what you're into, this was the debate the American people deserve. Because they both talked about true
policies.
where they stand on certain things. You didn't hear. I think I heard. I think I heard him say one time, "Let's be clear," but you didn't hear a lot of that because every time Kamala opens her mouth, she either giggling or saying, "Let's be clear. Let me be clear."
Yeah.
And then Donald Trump loves to talk about himself and all the wonderful and great things that he's done. Right. But you didn't hear a whole lot of policy what they stand for. Right. These guys, you heard a lot of that last night. So, all right, and then the only other thing I was going to throw out there, I don't have a picture of it because I just thought I don't know what's going on with this man. I don't know if there's something going on with his health. And I try to be very cognizant of what's the guy's name who played Black Panther? Chadwick.
Something, yeah.
Chadwick.
Something, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any rate, I remember when he had lost a lot of weight and people were making comments about his health or saying that he lost all his weight and not knowing what was going on behind the scenes with him. He was gravely ill. Well, I think the same could be said for what's going on with D.L. Hughley. I don't want to speak on what is going on with his health, but there's clearly something going on. Somebody made a comparison to him and the Tin Man from the Wiz. Yeah. And it was spot on. Yeah. It looked just like it. But the whole reason it even came up is because he was talking crap about Janet Jackson because Janet made a comment that she didn't know Kamala was black. She didn't know she identified as black. And what's interesting about that to me is he's giving her such grief about not knowing that she her saying that she didn't know that and saying that it was rhetoric on Janet's part, but there's a bunch of people didn't know Kamala identified as black. So why he went so hard in on Janet, I have no idea. But there was an interesting take. He decided to do one of his shows specifically about that. So all right.
I'm sure he was told too. He's a puppet.
You were probably right, sir.
Yep, he is a puppet.
All right. So for the main courses.
All right.
Port strike. If you have not heard about the strikes going on at the ports, perhaps you've either been asleep for a really long time or you've been hiding under a rock or hiding somewhere. But these port strikes are, they're doing a number. They're doing a number right now. So what the port strikes are about are the longshore workers who work at the various different ports in the U.S. Are wanting some things. There's something called the ILA, which is the International Longshoremen's Association. And longshoremen who are part of the ILA, which is unionized, there are things that they are requesting and asking for that they feel like they deserve. So those things are, they're demanding higher wages. Obviously, wages is always at the forefront of anytime there's a strike, wages is usually the number one thing. But they're asking for beyond a 32% increase. They have concerns about automation, so machines coming in and taking over their jobs. They're pushing for better health care and benefits. And retirement contributions, so they feel like their employer needs to basically contribute more to their retirement. And then because they are striking, the impact this is going to have on the economy could be far-reaching. I've heard numbers anywhere from 3.5 billion to 5 billion a day.
Right.
When they strike.
Right. It's funny because I've heard from 1 billion to 6.
Okay, so depending on what news channel you listen to or where you're getting your information from, it just varies. This is very dangerous for a number of reasons, and not even necessarily for the reasons that you would think or what is being pushed in mainstream media. But before we really get into the meat of it, what are some of your thoughts on this strike?
I'm agreeing with you with the dangerous part. And then at the time that it's coming, look, I want to start off with saying this, that the hurricane. What was that last hurricane that just went up? Helene. They saying that global warming was the reason that hurricane got so much strength and got as big as it was and did the damage. I was talking to Safa today. I said, no, it's not global warming. That was the Most High that did that. Seals are being broken. Plagues are being unleashed. And this is another one. Now, I'm not telling anybody to become fearful with this thing and what it is that we're talking about, but it comes at an odd time. You know what I'm saying? Everything is already so unstable as it is. And then now, out of nowhere, you know, you want to start shutting down ports. This is the second thing. And this is why we have Truth Be Told Flex podcast. We try to make sense out of those things that don't make sense. The media's job is to sell fear. Our job, which is ordained by the Most High, is to try to get you as close to the truth as we possibly can.
Right.
When we miss the mark here and now and then, we may miss the mark here and now and then, but we're going to try to get you as close to the truth as we possibly can. The media is instigating a lot of rhetoric right now in a way that it probably shouldn't be. You was just talking about how somebody that you know was saying that, and I could get the story wrong, but toiletries and things like this has been shortage already in stores.
Costco, Walmart, out of toilet paper.
People are already starting to hoard this stuff because the media, how the media is reporting this here. Look, it's just like you said a while ago, you work at the ports. Are they striking at your port? Right?
No.
Right. Every port in America is not shutting down, which means that all of the stores are not. The only way that they're going to run out of product right now is that if everybody go in and start buying them up and start hoarding it up. This is what's making it dangerous. What's making it more, look, people hoarding is more dangerous than the longshore workers striking.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind too is it is their job. It is the ILA president's job to strike fear. That is what he is there for, to make the businesses bend to the will of the longshoremen and to the ILA president. Having said that, it's interesting because we get phone calls all day long since prior to the strike, when the strike was first being kind of talked about. You didn't hear a lot of chatter. You didn't hear anything on the news. We only heard stuff on the news like right before, maybe 3 or 4 days before the strike actually happened. This has been looming for a while. This has been going on. This has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
The problem though is the ILA president is not he is not negotiating fairly, in good faith. So generally what happens in a negotiation is you want some things, I have some things, and some things that I want. And we come to the table and we discuss. We know we're not going to agree on everything, but we legitimately come to the table and say, okay, I can give a little of this, you can give a little of that. It's generally a 75-25 or 50-50, however you want to look at it, but you got to give and I take. I got to give and you take. It works both ways. This dude is not willing to bend on anything. And the problem with this is while these guys are on strike, they're not getting paid. Guess who is still getting paid? The president.
Exactly.
He is still getting his money.
The mouthpiece.
He is still getting his money. And
I'll be quiet.
While he's making all of these claims about they're going to cripple the economy, they're going to shut this place down, every single port is not striking.
Right.
Every single terminal does not have people out there picketing and striking and not bringing goods in.
Right.
We are so busy right now because we have had other
I was just about to say that. So for ports like me, if I was a port and I was striking, I don't want to lose money. So what I can do is I can redirect ships, right? Vessels or whatever, however you call them, to another port to get that offloaded, right? Which will give you more business, but at the same time, products are still being moved from one place to another.
Right. It's the businesses that are making decisions and saying, hey, look, because your port is shut down, we're going to have to redirect. Now, the issue is there's only so much.
Right. You can't take everything.
That is correct. There's
like the borders.
There's only so much you can take in.
Right.
And places where these vessels normally go dock, they're not able to dock there. So they're having to regroup where they go dock.
Right.
Not to get into too much of where I work. I don't want to put that out there. But generally, we'll have a vessel that goes to one location. From that location, they'll go to another location.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that location, they come to us. Now, this is over water, so it's going to take some time, especially there's no highways, there's no traffic. It just depends on what's going on the seas, right? But that still is going to take some time to bring all of that stuff wherever it needs to go. People are having to make, or businesses are having to make significant changes and change how they do things in order to get their goods to some of these other ports to be able to bring it into our port. Right. Where we would normally go to 2 or 3 places, now we're only going to 1 or 2 places.
Right.
So, but yeah, this is very dangerous what the ILA president is doing. I understand some of the
that's what I was about to say. I can understand, wanting higher wages. I can understand being upset. They also striking for something that is called a container royalty, which is a supplemental wage that they are receive for the containers. And I can see you being upset that the big company, the what do they call themselves? The ocean carriers are wanting to take a part of that. Look, y'all are you the giant. Let us have a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Without you wanting it. I can get that. Negotiating retirement and pensions. But before we move on, I want to make these are the things. You mentioned how he don't want to be in. He's not negotiating there. It's 2 things that they are striking, that he got these people striking for that do concern me, that if they don't bend, at some point, the people that are striking that's not getting paid, they're going to be without jobless. And at some point, it is going to start affecting us as the people. And one of them is that the automations. Now, I can understand you wanting to keep your job and you don't want to be replaced by robots. I can get that. You know what I'm saying? I get that wholeheartedly. But it's dangerous when you start talking the language as, and this is what he said, talking about the president. Let's be clear. We don't want any form of semi-automations or full automations. We want our jobs, the jobs we have historically done for over 132 years. You're not an equal to these people.
Not at all.
It's why it's called negotiations. You cannot make demands like that. And the way times are moving, the way times are advancing, there has to be some type of order automations in place just in order for companies to be able to keep up. Now, I can get you negotiating. You're going to have to compromise. That's what that word is, compromise. Look, no automations here or no automations for a certain amount of time. But when you say no automations and whatsoever, it just goes back to what you were saying when we was talking about it. You're now going to force these companies to speed up things that they were already putting in place. Guess what a robot is never going to do?
Strike. They're not going on strike. Well, that is unless they find themselves in the position of iRobot.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
The machines aren't striking. And the thing is, automation is not necessarily a bad thing, because one of the things that I understand is because this is a specialized skill that these guys and gals have to do. A lot of them have been doing it for years.
Right.
I'm talking years. So when those guys have been doing that for as long as they've been doing it, what happens? They start to age out.
Right.
That starts to be a lot of wear and tear on these
guys.
Body. If you've ever been to a port and watched the kind of work that they do, not only is it mesmerizing to see how they do it, you find yourself like these dudes are working out every single
Right.
day. They work in all types of conditions.
Right.
Raining, cold,
Right.
hot,
Kind of like it was in
dusty.
Acme.
It does not matter what the weather is outside. That's what they're doing. The only thing that they won't do is generally work in fog because they can't see. And that usually is the Port Authority shutting down the channel, so they can't work in that anyway. They'll make the call. They don't work when it's lightning, which makes sense. Or if the containers or the stuff on the vessels is too icy, because that's unsafe. But outside of that,
they out
whatever
there.
the weather conditions are, that's what they out there doing.
It. Yeah.
So I that's why I said I do agree with some of the things that they're asking for: better health care benefits, more money. More money is always at the forefront because longshoremen have generally and historically been such an underpaid,
overworked, underpaid
industry. These guys typically work 12-hour shifts, and depending on how many vessels you have coming in, they work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Our guys have sometimes worked in essence of 72, 80 hours in 1 week.
That's equivalent to 2 weeks of work in 1 week. Yeah.
In 1 week, so
I get it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this guy is playing with lives. The lives of those workers and also our lives as well. Because if he for real don't bend and the people continue to be behind him, it's gonna be a long ugly fight for real. Because you got to remember who the giant is, man. And I'm all for standing up against the giant and fighting for what is right, understanding his numbers and powers. But you still got to understand that this is their stuff.
It is
at the end of the day.
All right. So while we were out, there was a lot going on with one of the topics that we've talked about a couple of different times, and that is Diddy and his infamous Diddy oil, as I like to call it. So new development surrounding Mr. Combs here was arrested on September the 16th and facing serious charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, and interstate transportation for prostitution. His troubles have escalated. More than 120 additional accusations of sexual misconduct, including minors, was brought to the forefront. His current bond sits at $50 million. But the court has repeatedly denied his bail, citing him as a danger to the community. Agreed. And the allegations just keep coming. They just keep coming. But of all the things that happened, one of the things that I thought was most interesting, what are you doing with 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
Yeah.
I can't even look at baby oil the same anymore.
Yeah.
I can't look at it the same anymore. But based on everything that we currently know, and I'm sure there's more stuff going to come out, what do you think about what this new information about Diddy?
I kind of want to take a different approach.
Detour.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a whole different approach. There's not a whole lot more that can be said about what he is facing than has been said. You get on social media, everybody and their mama is talking about Diddy. News is making sure that you know what is going on with Diddy. And this is not something that is new at all. People already knew. People had already been alluding to what Diddy had been doing that was in the industry. There were people with his freak offs. There was already being alluded. So a couple of questions that I have is what took the authorities so long to bring him in, because this was known thing. But the second thing is nobody, and let me be clear here.
Oh my.
No pun intended. But let me be clear here. This is in no means by me giving Sean Combs a pass. Whatever Sean Combs get, he deserves, and probably even more. Okay. I'm not making any excuses for Sean Combs whatsoever. But since we're talking about justice, and I'm thinking that's what we're talking about, and everybody got all of these memes about Combs, and everybody saying this about Combs, this, that, and the other. Is anybody interested in how Sean Combs got to where he is at? That is the detour that I want to take.
Okay.
What this dude is charged with And what we know that Sean Combs is guilty of, this is abnormal behavior for even abnormal people, man. This dude had over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants that they came in contact with.
Well, if you're gonna have a freak off, don't you need some lubricants and some oil?
Yeah, I guess you're right, man. But I mean, we've got to ask the question, what triggered this thing? You know what I'm saying? What got him spiraling down this thing? And what did he have to give up for his fame and his riches? This is the question that I'm asking. Right. You see what I'm saying? And when you get to the root of who Sean is, this dude got all of these aliases, and I bet you every last one of those aliases got a whole different character too. I bet you Sean Diddy is different from Puffy Combs, and I bet you Puffy Combs is different from just Diddy, and I bet you all of them. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. You like you about to say something.
Another one he was trying to put out there that he wanted to change his name too, and I heard this on my favorite morning show. He was on there, I think last year, saying that he wanted to change his name, or he wanted to now go by love, because everything that he does is all in love. It's all about love.
Yeah.
He started paying royalties to people for music that he had.
Exactly.
He started giving people their what is it called? Their rights, their music rights.
Yeah, they royalty rights. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's another.
I can't think right now, but I know. Yeah.
But anyway, he started giving people the rights to their music back, and so they were asking him why. And he was like, "Cause I'm all about love." I think this brother knew what was coming.
It was coming down. Exactly.
There started to be some sprinkling, some whispers somewhere. So he was trying to get right, as they say.
If he never had had sued that Ciroc company, that family, and tried to get ownership of it, and he started calling out racist stuff, Diddy would still be out on them streets right now doing what it is that Diddy does. You know what I'm saying? But it goes back to, there is one particular name though, man, that is in the industry that has traumatized a lot of people. Diddy did not become Diddy overnight. This guy was young when he became who it was that he was. And you got to ask yourself the question, what happened to him when he was young in order for him to be where it is that he is at right now? And there is a name that is out there that is traumatized. His list of traumatization is long, but ain't nobody ever gonna bring him to the forefront. Ain't nobody ever going to talk about him. You see what I'm saying? And this is the root. Now, like I said, Diddy deserves everything that he is going to get. He's guilty of it. He needs to be off the streets. But no truer statement has ever been said. Hurt people, hurt people. Now, when he decided to sell out for his fame and riches, he knew what he was doing. I don't feel sorry for him. But when we talking about justice, though, the same thing I said with Robert Kelly. He can't be the only one that's sitting there right now.
Right. The other thing, too, though, is for those of you familiar with Sister Story, what's her name? Oh, God, I just lost her name. Superhead.
Karen Steffen.
Yeah, Corinne Steffen. Trying to be nice and use her government name.
Yeah. See why y'all got him with this oil like that, though? I know that is kind of disturbing, huh, Delta?
Hey, look, I'm telling you, that's what we know it as now. Diddy oil, Diddy the diddler.
Yeah.
But one of the things that she actually brought out and said was that there are people who are jumping on board the train saying that they were misused and manipulated and whatever. She participated in some of these as a willing participant.
Right.
There are other people who participated as willing participants.
This is a payday too for a lot of people right now.
Correct. And I think what's sad is, he definitely needs to be held accountable. No qualms about that. He definitely needs to be held accountable. But those people who participated and brought others along, they need to be held accountable too.
Yeah.
It can't just be on
right.
He didn't do this by himself.
He didn't do this by
He
himself.
also had some people who were assisting him. And I told y'all this before. I want to know where his umbrella man is.
Right.
Like, you know, he has to know
right.
a lot of inside stuff. Right. So there are other people who need to be held accountable in this. So we'll keep an eye on it and see where this goes. But it definitely is not looking good for the diddler. All right. This guy. Oh, and look who he's with. So Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, has been indicted on charges related to corruption and campaign finance violations. The indictment centers on allegations that Adams accepted illegal contributions from foreign nationals, specifically from Turkish officials, in exchange for political favors. These contributions were reportedly concealed through straw donations that circumvented campaign finance laws, allowing Adams' campaign to receive more than $10 million in matching funds under the city's program. So obviously, there's going to be more to come with this, but I don't think this is what everybody is saying it is with him. And then you have a lot of people saying that he needs to step down. Well, he hasn't been found guilty of anything. He's just been indicted.
The time we live in right now, indictments is enough to step down, to get counseled. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that just the smearing of your name in the time that we live in can cost you everything.
No, Trump ain't stopped running for president.
Trump a whole different, for real, a whole different breed.
I just find it really interesting when it's the other side.
Yes.
They are allowed to continue doing what they're doing. Nobody generally asks for them to step down. Nobody's coming for their head. But when it's us, you got to step down. You got to save face. He could be 100% innocent. And somebody pissed off and decided they're going to try and make some waves for him.
My thing, though, with Eric Adams is if anybody can tell me what has Eric Adams done that they don't do?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. This is the game of politics. That's one of the perks of being a politician. It's only a crime when y'all say that it's a crime, when y'all decide that it's going to be a crime. What this man has done is what they all do and what they will continue to do. This is for real a witch hunt. Now, I'm not saying this, because I'm sympathetic towards the brother or whatsoever. This is another one of those reasons as to why Truth Be Told Flex podcast is here. So we can expose some of the trickeries and the stuff that they do. When you control the media, you can control people's lives. And that's exactly what they are doing right now with Eric Adams. He said something when all of this first broke. He said, I knew that I would be in the crosshairs when I stood up against the powers that be. I'm paraphrasing that, but that's exactly what he was saying, So he spoke volumes of truth there. But we are so moved with entertainment and memes and TikToks and Instagram reels, and people put stuff that's out there funny, that it desensitizes us to the point to where we don't even look for the truth or the sanity or the common sense in certain things. You dig what I'm saying? This brother ain't did nothing that no politician has done. Now, I'm looking at this key, and maybe this key is a whole curse, because it was him who gave Diddy the key to the city. Now, both of them is in trouble right now. But like I asked my son, I was like, well, Diddy got a key to the whole city.
Right.
He can't use that key to get himself out of jail.
You know what?
That's the master key, ain't it?
Look, and with that being said, I think we need to go to a music break.
I'm just saying. That key, that's the key right there, Diddy.
Yes, indeed. So our first music break is Annabelle the Servant with Gratitude.
Let's get it.
I had to stay true to my heart. Now I'm in the zone. I would say, try not to get lost in this world of wrong. I killed the flesh, John with the spoon. That old man is gone. Hako Dash, who I get my body. I trust in his throne. Times is hard. Money getting low. They compromise the souls. When money low, the reason get exposed on why you do this for. Don't switch to appeal the world, cause you gon' miss. Trying to switch my vibe, boy, stop. Y'all gon' hold this as soon as you say God, the world treats you like a joke. If you ain't got ego, then they try to treat you like you broke. In the most high trust, because he will give me hope. Exodus 19 verse 8, I took the oath. I ain't switching songs, I told y'all next song on the last song. Learn from my mistake, how dare I treat my past wrong. Devil try, but my angels ride like they mask on. He fear us, they see the smoke coming like a glass bomb. Whoa, yeah, I'm in my mode. Trust that I'ma go where the Father tell me go. I got motion like a road, even if it's slow. When the Abba tell me no, I'm thankful either way you go. I gotta say, so I gotta say, thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. So I gotta say, so I gotta say, thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. The Most High got my back. I'm thankful for that. Just like Google Maps, he directed my path, he corrected my past. I can't cry over that for the people that left me, for the things that ain't last. Me and the devil oppose, haters they tryna expose. Meanwhile I'm tryna say souls. My mind don't stay on my foes, my collarbone stay on froze. Blue ribbons stay on my clothes, fringes on all of my walls. We keep it lost cause we chose. Whoa, yeah, I'm in my mode. Trust that I'ma go where the Father tell me go. I got motion like a road, even if it's slow. When the Abba tell me no, I'm thankful either way you go. I gotta say, so I gotta say, thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. So I gotta say, so I gotta say, thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay. Thank you, Abba, ay.
Yeah.
All right, we're back. All right, so next up, 23andMe. So 23andMe is one of those companies that you can send your DNA into and find out where you're from, where you originated from, where your ancestry is from. Personally, I think it's all a big gag. I don't think anybody should be sending in their DNA. That's just me, because I feel like they're going to use it later on for something else. But that being said, so while everything was going on with Diddy behind the scenes, 7 of the 8 board members resigned in September from 23andMe company. This included key independent directors, leaving CEO and co-founder, and I do not know how to say her name, Wojcicki, as the sole board member. The resigning board members cited differences with her regarding the strategic direction of the company. They indicated frustration over the lack of actionable proposal from this lady. We're going to call her whatever her first name is. Because Ann, we're going to call her Ann. To address the company's financial challenges, including the possibility of taking the company private. 23andMe has faced declining revenue and stock prices in 2024, with shares dipping as low as 35 cents. The company risks delisting from NASDAQ unless it can improve its stock performance. To be delisted from NASDAQ is huge.
Okay.
Once you go public,
right,
to be delisted, that means you bringing in
nothing,
almost nothing.
Right.
So a central issue appears to be that Ann decided to push to take the company private, which some board members felt wasn't the best interest of non-affiliated shareholders. The decision raised concerns about transparency, particularly regarding the company's large trove of sensitive genetic data. The board resignation and financial instability. The future of 23andMe is uncertain, and maintains that going private is the best route for long-term success, though the decision has sparked debate among investors and industry observers. So the industry, investors, shareholders, and 7 board members all disagreed with this lady, and she still decided to do what she did, and they're losing money. What's wrong with this picture?
As far as her doing what it is that she want to do, or them losing money, 23andMe is what? I mean, the bigger picture, why you think they losing money? Why you think, what you think that's going on? Her going private, if she go private, how would that benefit? How would that benefit them at all?
That's what they're asking.
Right.
That's why they're asking.
Right.
That's what they're
I think the problem is, this is one of these instances to me, and I could be wrong, and it's just my opinion. This is one of these times where I think social media has done a great job. I think 23andMe is suffering because how you started out the segment. I think it's ridiculous sending your DNA in anywhere anyway. You see what I'm saying? Now, the damage has been done because there are a lot of people who have done it. There are people that I know who have done it that consider themselves Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Which, in my opinion, I think that you should have more sense than to send your DNA in. But I'm thinking overall, I don't think 23andMe and even other companies like that is going to have any more success anyway, because I think people are getting to the point where they understanding that, yo, I'm sending my DNA in. Go ahead.
No, finish.
I'm sending my DNA in, and exactly what you said, I don't know what you're going to be doing with this DNA. Like, I got rid of my hair when I cut it off because I was afraid of somebody getting my hair and doing something with it. You know what I'm saying?
So this is just my small little thoughts on this. Generally, when a company is public, you have to be very transparent with everybody. The shareholders, the other board members, investors. You have to be very open about what you're doing, where this data is going, who's using it, what companies are being allowed to touch it. They have to agree on who's being allowed to touch it, use it, or do whatever they're going to do with it. When you go private, that's not necessarily true. So
yeah, right, because you're private.
The fact that all of this information is now out there, even though they use the guise of, we're going to tell you your ancestry, we're going to tell you where you come from, we're going to tell you who you really are, we're going to tell you all about yourself, the things that you don't necessarily know, where your roots really are.
This goes back to the initial question I asked. What was you asking? Now it's making sense to me. Why is she so stoned on going private? Because if she go private, she could do whatever she want to do with that DNA.
So
that information.
One of the stories that is out on TikTok, and I've actually seen it twice now, 2 completely different individuals. One of the things that I've seen them talking about is the fact that once you find out somebody's DNA, ancestry, or whatever, if there is land that is in their family and owed to them, legally you have to give it to them, right? So for all these people who are supposedly Native American, even though they live on reservations, you have other people who have land that is owed to them, that belongs to them, that is part of their heritage. You have to give them that land, including those not just here in America, but across the waters.
Right.
This is a very thin theory to me, but that was one of the reasons that they said that all these board members are stepping down, and all the different things that they decided to do, all the different entities that are upset that she decided to take the company private. Personally, it is exactly what I just said. My theory is there are now things that she can do as a private company.
That's right.
With this DNA, she can sell it to whomever she wants to sell it to. They can take this DNA stuff. We already been talking about cloning.
Right.
Who cloned Tyrone?
Right.
You don't think there's a lab somewhere where they're using this DNA to do whatever they want to do with this DNA? There's some medical doctors somewhere that are in her pocket.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Let us use this DNA that you have. Let us use what you have, and all it takes is a little bit.
Right.
It just because what do they have you do when you send that in?
And like I said too, the damage has been done. There are so many people who have given 23andMe their DNA, and it's like you say, hey, when I'm sitting inside of my house, the laws outside of my house does not apply inside of my house. You know what I'm saying? This is private in here. But when you step outside, it's commercial, it's public. And her making that for real private, that is dangerous, man.
There's something else to be said.
Especially when you got so many actors and actresses that are dying, that is giving Hollywood the rights to their voices for AI and stuff like that too, right? So you could take AI along with DNA, and you could damn near recreate somebody.
Look, go watch. Some of my favorite movies to watch are things like, obviously, I, Robot. How realistic that is and what could potentially happen with that. But what's the movie with Will Smith where he was?
Oh yeah.
Introduced,
right? The younger him, yeah.
Look at Who Cloned Tyrone?
Right.
Look at Black Mirror, what that episode where people didn't realize the contract they were signing, that they could have their likeness remade and do all these different things. So as funny as it is watching some of those movies,
she ain't caring about the money right now. She's doing what she want to do. She wants to go private.
Right.
She wants to go private. Yeah. Great take on that, man. I didn't even think of that. Whole thing I was thinking of is that, people is wising up to the fact of saying, that's crazy to me that you would send your DNA. That's damn.
If you don't know, though, you don't know.
That's crazy.
Because look at how they presented it. They presented it to people saying, if you don't know your history, who are the most affected by not knowing your history? We are.
Right.
We don't generally know. I mean, we know who we are, but we don't know where we come from.
Right.
So who's generally the most affected by this?
Right.
If you have any white friends, 90% of the time they can tell you, oh, my family's history is this. My family came over here from Germany.
Right.
Our names were this.
Right.
My family is Irish and we came from this. Mm-hmm. My family is Dutch. They generally know those things. For up until what?
Yeah, our people come, man. My people from Florida.
You ask them, where do your people originate?
Yeah, Appaloosa's, Louisiana.
White people will say Germany.
Right.
France.
Right.
Alabama.
Yeah.
We came from Louisiana.
Right.
Outside of here, where do your people come from? And we generally don't know. So
yes, indeed.
Keep an eye on it. All right. So this
next one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw this up here. I don't know how many people are in the chat. I'm gonna leave it up there for a second, but one of these individuals is not like the other. Can you identify the male in this photo?
Yeah, if you can figure out which one it is, put the numbers, jersey numbers up there. You can figure out which one that is different.
Well, we'll just put it out there. One of them is a man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If you can figure out which one of these is a man, drop it in the chat.
Start dropping numbers in the chat. And let's see what y'all got while we talk about this right
This is the San Jose State volleyball team. And San Jose State right now their record is they're undefeated. Boise State was slated to play them, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and they decided, we're boycotting. We're going to forfeit. We are not going to play this match because there's a transgender player on this team by the name of Blair Fleming who transitioned, obviously, from male to female. The decision was seen as part of a larger debate over fairness and safety in women's sports, especially regarding the physical capabilities of gender athletes. Boise chose to forfeit due to safety concerns and fairness and related to competing against a transgender athlete. Idaho Governor Brad Little supported Boise State's decision, citing alignment with his executive order aimed at protecting fairness in women's sports. Mountain West Conference rules, as per conference policy, Boise State's forfeit is recorded as a loss. This isn't an isolated incident. Other schools like Southern Utah and the University of Wyoming have also forfeited matches against San Jose State University for similar reasons. The situation has sparked broader conversations about inclusion, fairness, and safety in women's sports, with some athletes in school expressing concerns over playing against transgender players. The other interesting twist to this is one of the girls on this team in particular filed a lawsuit. She filed a lawsuit against the school because they didn't notify the team that they had a transgender person playing for them.
Right.
So we didn't have anybody, I don't see anybody drop anything in the chat. Either they don't know or they just don't want to put it out there.
Right.
So let me jump ahead and show you which one is the male. Number 3.
Yep.
Number 3 is I cannot remember. I looked it up and then lost the information. Who she used to go by when
Brandon.
Brandon. Was it Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon Fleming.
Brandon Fleming. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now Brandon Fleming is Blair
Right.
Fleming. And Blair's not even the tallest person on the team. She's not the biggest person on the team. Also not the manliest looking person on the team, because if you go back, you even had a hard time initially.
Right.
You identified it pretty quickly, but you
Right.
had a hard time initially. But there's a couple other players on this team that I was seeing comments on that said that they need to check their DNA as well to make sure that they're not men. But I just know I play volleyball. You know, volleyball is
Right.
probably my absolute favorite sport, and I have played against men. It is definitely a much harder game. The net is higher, so
Right.
if you're not hitting on the same net that men normally hit on, you are killing it on this little bitty net.
Right.
The swing is ridiculous. There's something in volleyball called a 10-foot line. And to be able to hit a ball in front of that 10-foot line, that line is just behind the net.
Mm.
To be able to hit in front of that 10-foot line, if you're not a middle hitter, is hard.
Right.
If you can do that from the back row,
Right.
that's absolutely insane.
Right.
Absolutely insane. The serve, the passing, the blocking, yeah. I would have an issue if I'm playing against a born male, and I wasn't aware of it. Like when I play with the guys, I play with the guys because that's what I chose to do.
Right.
I wanted it to elevate my game. This person is integrated into this game with these women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's unfair. It's definitely unfair for the school not to have notified the team. They should have been made aware.
I definitely agree. In my opinion, I think it's cheating. One, and for the schools that are forfeiting, I give them props as well for forfeiting. Somebody got to be the adult in this thing. But for San Jose State not to inform their team that they were bringing this dude on to be a teammate, why are you afraid to let them know? Several of these girls, including the one that filed the lawsuit against San Jose, they were transfers. They transferred to San Jose.
Right.
And so you allowed them to transfer to your school without informing them of the knowledge that one of your teammates is going to be a male. That right there, that's, that to me, that could be a deal breaker. And they knew that. This is one of the reasons why they kept that concealed. Now, the lawsuit that this girl is that filed against San Jose, one of the things that she is upset about, and she has every right in the world to be upset about it. While they was team traveling, they had her in a room with this dude. She didn't know that it was a dude because it was not disclosed to her that it was a transgender. You see what I'm saying? That's dangerous, man. As a parent, I would be livid. Come to find out, because I'm thinking that my daughter is in a room with another female, but come to find out she's in a room with a transgender. Look, where are we at right now? This is the question.
So let me put this out here. There's a lot that is not known about this situation. There's a lot that is has been kept under wraps. And one of the things is if this person has fully transitioned. Having fully transitioned is different in a way. It is different than actually being in a situation where somebody still has all of their parts and pieces.
I wouldn't care fully.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not okay with it. I already said that I'm not okay with it. But I think some of the reason they haven't said anything is because Blair transitioned, if I'm not mistaken, transitioned a while ago. So she identifies, or they identify as a woman and has transitioned. Like they done had all the bait and tackle and the rod and reel. It's been removed. So they felt like, okay, well, if she identifies as a female,
somebody must have known, because the girl that's filing the lawsuit said that she became aware of it when she kept hearing individuals saying, man, look at that dude play. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm sure the high school that she went to, right. I'm sure people had. It's like when you follow an athlete, you want to go back and see where they started. Right. You want to go follow their trail. Where did they come from? Where did they go to school? And you don't see any pictures of this person who's this great athlete, this great volleyball player in high school. There's no league that they played in. They didn't play any AAU events. And then you start finding out this is the same person. Yeah. So
we live in a different time though. This Joker, do. You know what I'm saying? It's scary, man, because the one thing that I do agree with this political climate that we're in right now is the right when they saying we need to protect our girls in women's sports. I agree with that wholeheartedly, man. I ask myself the question time and time again. So many of us are left, okay? And so many of us vote Democrat. And I've asked, how can you call yourself a Christian and you vote Democrat? When you seeing the things, this right here is a left move through and through. It is the left that is allowing this type of stuff to be even in the forefront right now.
Because the Jesus that they serve, the God that they serve,
says
is
love,
all about love.
Right, just love like, everybody.
Just like
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
love.
Right.
So,
yeah. It's sad, man. So you know, there's no place for that. I think another awesome move would be if the team just stepped down. You know what I'm saying? Or if the team just come together and the conglomerate is stepped down. I don't know.
You talking about San Jose?
Yeah, San Jose.
There are girls on that team that are okay with it.
Yeah,
that's the problem though. They're not a unified front in terms of we all disagree that, that this person is on the team.
And all it takes is just one. This one right here could be the ruin for everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's the test dummy right there, right? And now it was successful. San Jose needs to be sued and they need to be held accountable for that as well, man. Because that's just straight up. That's just, to me, that's forgery. That's lying. That's all. I mean, yeah, it was lies.
It's almost equivalent to being on a date and not knowing that you're on a date with somebody.
And they always talking about these transgenders coming up killed and stuff, but they never tell you why. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, if a dude go meet a chick going out to meet a female and he get this female home and come to find out this female is like him, it's just to be something. It's gonna be real different up in here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be real different up in here.
Unless you Malik Yoba. All right, so with that, we're going to go to the next story.
Right.
So we'll talk about, that old saying or the saying when your phone be ringing off the hook. Oh, my phone is blowing up. Well, somebody's phones, some people's phones literally was blowing up. So it said earlier last month, thousands of pagers and walkie-talkies exploded, including some cell phones, across Lebanon and Syria, targeting Hezbollah members. The devices, secretly modified by Israel intelligence, were part of a large-scale attack that killed at least 42 people and injured thousands. The explosions represent a significant security breach for Hezbollah and are seen as a new form of warfare, raising legal and ethical concerns about the use of communication devices as weapons. Israel has denied involvement, though its leadership issued cryptic warnings after the incident. So these are cell phones, pagers. I don't know how many people still use pagers except
Over
for
there,
maybe,
probably a lot of
maybe doctors or whatever. But no, I'm talking about for over here. But imagine having your device in your pocket and it just explodes.
Yeah.
Not due to a malfunction, but because this is now a weapon of warfare.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel really, really bad. I mean, look at this picture. I'm not sure where his phone or his pager was, but his face appears to be almost missing right here. But yeah, we need to be very,
he's probably
very
talking
mindful.
on the phone.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he's probably talking on the phone. That's the thing with this right here.
Hey, look what this is. That's an Android. I'm just saying.
This is the thing with this particular story. With so much that's going on and all of the stuff that people are worried about that they probably should not be worried about. Imagine using your cell phone as a weapon. We have got to understand that if they were able to do this over there,
that's what I'm talking about.
If they was able to do that over there, this is something that can happen at any time over here. That can, for real, look, you got, what do we say on this show? One of the best ways, we talked about one of the best ways to attack America is with the immigrants, right? Because ain't no country going to be crazy enough to send the army over here. You can't get to us by air. You're not fit to send those ships over here. But what if you put weapons on ships and cargoes and send them out to AT&T and Sprint and Verizon and Boost Mobile and Cricket and wherever else it is that you get your cell phone devices from?
Yeah. Just about every single movie in the last 10, 12 years that has any kind of manufactured bombs in it, how did they detonate them?
Right.
Through a cell phone.
Right.
It was through generally a cellular device. Right. Somewhere. So they're telling you right now they're very easy to infiltrate.
Right. This is something that's real right here, man. This is it almost pains me to say it, but I do not see this being an isolated attack over there. At some point in time, you're going to have an enemy that's going to be upset enough with America. Our devices are going to be tainted.
And everybody has these devices.
And we can't live without them. It's not like you could just say, oh man, when they give a recall on chicken, well, I'm not going to eat that chicken no more. They give a recall on a product. It ain't like I could just decide that I'm going to at least just throw my phone away.
Everything we do now is so tied to these cell
we
phones.
Work on these cell phones.
Just think about, I remember when one of our kids was younger, I won't say fought, but it was like a treat to get our kids a cell phone. The very first cell phone our oldest got was so that he could get in touch with it, because we didn't have a house phone.
Right.
Didn't necessarily need a house phone.
Right.
But so that he could get in touch with us when he got home off the bus.
Right.
Call us as soon as you get home. That used to be the thing we did with house phones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you on the bus, you get locked outside, you don't have neighbors anymore that'll come over and, or let you come over and hang out with them until your mom gets home. So what do we give our kids cell phones. And it gets younger and younger. Our oldest was 12 years old when he got his first cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old enough age, I think, to have a cell phone. That's what we thought at the time. So we did the same thing with our middle son.
Mm-hmm.
You not get a cell phone until you turn XYZ age.
Right.
Same thing with our daughter. You don't get a cell phone until you turn XYZ age. I see kids as young as 5, 6, 7 years old with cell phones. Yep. And that's their phone.
It's their phone.
That's their cell phone.
I mean, that is like, man, that say turning a cell phone into a weapon, that's almost insane to even think about. You know what I'm saying?
Scary.
Because it's very that's one thing that is scary, because like you say, they have went from what's the word I'm looking for? Cell phones are no longer a privilege, not a privilege, a desire or a want It's a need.
It's not. Yeah, it's no longer luxury.
Yeah, that's the word I was
staple.
looking for. It's no longer a luxury. It's a need. We need these phones, man. And so, yeah, that's scary, man. Can you imagine being in line with somebody and they phone ring and then they blow up and you seeing this, girl? You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine, even if it wasn't yours, just imagine the trauma that would do to you, seeing something like that happen. And like you pointing out this guy's face right here, this here was real. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, this is something for real that we need to keep thought of, man. And we need to be mindful of this. And look, we are in the last trimester. and I keep this on my family's mind all the time. We are in the last trimester. David said, though 1,000 fall at my left and 10,000 at my right, it shall not come nigh unto me. We have got to have that faith, man. The mystery of godliness is the Most High manifested himself in the flesh, and justified in the Ruach and seen of angels and believed on in this world and preached unto the Gentiles. We have got to have that spirit within us, man. We have got to be operating in the love of the Most High and keeping these commandments and have the Ruach of Hamashiach in us, because what did he say? He said that times got so bad in the end that he had to cut it short, because if he didn't, even the very elect would not make it. Now we talking about exploding cell phones.
Mercy. All right, well, we're coming up to our second music break, and this is that Kabod by Micah Yahoo?
Yeah.
All right.
Glory, Kabod. Glory.
Please, I live in water. Wash away our sins, our problems, and our old traumas. Praise your name, Yahoo, you kept your promise. I just take a pause on my life and the things I dealt. I just praise your name through the trials and the pains I felt. Let's be the man who labor his hands up the ground he till. I can be angry without King Yahusha. Don't take the hammer and nail. All praise to the Most High, Yah. Your words been so sweet like honey. Joyful to my soul. Also health to my flesh, joints and my bones. I give you the glory and praise. You've been so told. You turned my silence and my quietness to a melody tone. You took my fears and my weaknesses and made them strong. You could have chose anybody in the world. That's what's got me blown. Ya Cabo, Ya Cabo, 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 Cabo. Keep it going. Your name is dressed with so much weight. I just ask you close me. Every day I hit my knees, I pray. I just bless my morning. Your mercies is so wondrous. Your presence, I pray it come again. The lightning and the thundering. We praise your name, Yahoo. Fear and trembling. Obedience and a discipline. These times I've been praise the Most High and glorify our King, yeah. Our King, yeah. Forever His hands placed on my soul. Yahushua, you take the wheel, we take full control. Flood your ruach in my temple, I praise you. Cabo, Cabo, Cabo. Ooh, yeah. Cabo, 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 Cabo.
What happened?
No, let's end the song.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. So this is generally everybody's favorite part of the show, and nobody does this like IO, so I'm not going to attempt to do it, which is why I didn't really do a true beyond critical race theory, but I did decide it would be pretty nice to recognize a couple of pillars of our history, if you will,
classics
that happen to be in the entertainment industry that have unfortunately passed away. These three gentlemen right here, James Earl Jones, Dikembe Mutombo, and John Amos. So Mr. James Earl Jones, for those of you who don't know, he was such a handsome guy back in the day with those sultry eyes. Played in quite a few movies. He was on Broadway, did quite a few different things. I'm sure everybody recognizes this one, and if you don't know who this is, please go check this out. But he was in he was the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars.
Right.
The voice of Mufasa in The Lion King. He was King Jafar in Coming to America. He played Terrence Mann in Field of Dreams and Admiral James Greer in The Hunt for Red October. And those are just to name a few of the big roles that he played in. King
James Bible readings.
Yes, but he was also one of the people that you were talking about that gave permission for his voice to be
AI. Yeah.
But yeah, he was a good one. Somebody else passed away around the same time that he passed away. I'm not 100% sure who it was at the time, but I just remember people making the reference between The Lion King and somebody else passed away. But it happened while we were on break, so I didn't really remember. But this one stood out. One of my favorite movies was The Sandlot. He was an old man across the fence with a big scary dog. Right. So yeah, James Earl Jones. And that's, it's Darth Vader and King Jafar.
Right. He was just the voice too. For a long time, I actually thought that he was the man behind the mask of Darth Vader. Yeah, he was just he was the voice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next up, Dikembe Mutombo.
Come on,
Man Cannot Fly.
Come on,
in the House of Mutombo. He was a great NBA basketball player, played against some of the greatest. But this signature move right here, couldn't beat it.
Yeah.
There it is again.
Yeah.
Could not beat it.
Yeah. The Kempe.
Yeah, so he was a Congolese American professional basketball player known for his dominant shot blocking and defensive abilities. You remember how tall the Kempe was?
No.
7'2".
Okay.
7'2".
Right.
And
he wasn't as tall as I thought he was. I thought he was taller than that, but yeah.
Really? No, that's about how tall I thought he was. I had to go look it up to confirm it, but that's about how tall I thought he was. He played in the NBA from 1991 to 2009. He's an 8-time NBA All-Star and won the NBA Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. So that tells you a little bit about who he was. And he was famous for that finger waving.
That finger, just that big old long finger moved by itself.
Blocking shots.
Yeah.
The man does not fly.
In the house,
probably one of my favorite
yeah.
things about him. And I heard he was just such a genuine guy, humanitarian. He constantly gave back. His son wrote a pretty nice tribute.
Yeah, I read
pretty nice tribute. To have your children or anybody say what his son had to say about him after his passing was pretty amazing.
Right.
It speaks volumes about who he was as a person.
Yeah. Funny story with him and Jordan. I think it had to have been an all-star game. Him and Jordan was talking, and he was telling Jordan, you done dunked on everybody, but you ain't dunked on me. You don't mess with Jordan like that, man.
Right.
Yeah, and Jordan was also, I ain't dunk on you. And they was telling him, man, you leave that man alone. Well, before it was over with that particular night, Jordan posterized. He posterized the Kempe. Exactly. Yeah.
That was a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. And then he waved. Then he looked at him. And Jordan looked at him and waved that finger.
Yeah, and I know that was all love, though. All love. And then this next one cut. John.
Yeah.
I found out today that he actually passed away a while ago.
Oh, really?
A while ago.
What you call a while ago?
Back in August 21st.
Why we just not finding out?
I didn't get a chance to read. That was one of the things that I wanted to do and didn't get a chance to.
I did not know that.
My afternoon went. But he passed away back in August. And there was a lot of stuff that I kept seeing pop up about why they waited. And what was crazy is I had actually heard it back in August that he passed away. And when I went to try and look for, because you know how on Wikipedia, it'll tell you, when they were born and when they passed. I couldn't find anything on Wikipedia and I couldn't find anything else on Google.
TMZ hadn't said
that. Said
right.
TMZ hadn't announced it. So I was like, okay, that must have just been one of them,
right?
One of them one-off hoaxes or whatever. But he actually passed away back in August. And for those who don't know, he played the older Kunta Kinte. So we know our Reading Rainbow man was Kunta Kinte and got his foot chopped off. But he played the older version of Kunta Kinte. Yeah. He still looked the same. Yep. He looked the same. But obviously there were other roles he was known for. This was probably his most infamous role right here was Daddy James. James, the looks that he used to give, how he used to rip that belt out of his waist when he was about to get on his boys. This was a part of my childhood and a part of our kids' childhood because we actually bought the DVDs and they watched them over and over and over and over and over again. I still have my theories about this show and kind of what happened with it, but they killed off his character on the show for I don't know who doesn't know this, but in case you don't, they killed his show off on the character because he got sick and tired of playing I don't have a job, I'm stuck in the ghetto. Every time we try and get ahead, something catastrophic happens and we stay right here. I can't take care of my family the way I need to take care of my family. So because he was at odds with the producers and the show writers, they just decided to go ahead and kill his character off, which was devastating, but I understand why he did it.
I think another thing too, in case the people didn't know, he was only on the show because of Florida Evans, Esther Rose. She was not going to do the show unless she had a husband for her kids. She was
Correct.
not going to be a single mother in that show. And so she, you know what I'm saying? I believe, if I could be wrong on this, but I believe that she actually handpicked John Amos for that particular part. But that's the reason why he was on the show. And it's crazy that she had that insight to start the show.
Right.
And he had the insight that he had
to
end. You know what I'm saying?
She had a lot of critical things that she did on this show. Like one of the things that I heard Bernadette Stainless talk about was that her character wasn't even supposed to really have a lot of parts in the show. Like she was just going to be a face. She was going to be a pretty girl. She was like, you are not going to have a child playing my daughter on this show that is not going to speak.
Talk. Right.
We're not about to have a mute. Right. So she campaigned for a lot of things on that show. And I imagine, what's the gentleman's name? He wrote a bunch of shows back in the day.
Are you talking about that Juke?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't think his name.
Was it Maud?
Yeah, that's a spinoff of Maud. Yeah,
it's
a spinoff of Maud.
God, his name is on the tip of my tongue, but Norman Lear.
Yeah,
he had a lot of these shows. Yeah. And say what you want to say about Norman Lear, he did actually listen to a lot of his actors and actresses.
He was behind a lot of shows. He was behind Sanford and Son. He was behind What's Happening. He was behind a lot of a lot of our cult classic TV shows that was back in the day. But the older I got with Good Times, this was absolute my favorite show. But the older I got, the more I started looking at it a little bit differently. But
and especially now being on this side of things, you get to see what was really happening. But if you go back and pay attention to any of the episodes on Good Times, especially where the militant midget was involved, think about the episode they had Black Jesus.
Black Jesus, yeah.
Think about the episode where he was talking about the educational system for black.
They dropped some knowledge on that thing. Yeah,
he was failing his standardized tests on purpose to prove a point. That's why I said what you want to say about Norman Lear. He actually did quite a few things. He let a few cats out of the bag, if you will.
To go back to Esther as well, I don't know if people know that was a very educated lady too. I just wanted to throw that out there. That lady there was a very educated, well-rounded lady. She was more than, when I learned who she actually was outside of Florida Evans, it for real blew my mind. She on top of it, man.
Yes, she was.
Yes, that was a class. That was a class act right there.
And then of course his character on Coming to America as Cleo McDowell. But these are some pioneers that we lost over the last several weeks. So again, beyond critical race theory, that is Io's lane, but in order to try and bring a little bit of justice to it, I figured this would be a good way to honor that. So so our last topic of tonight, this one was heartbreaking. This is Mr. Marcellus Williams.
Right.
So he was executed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Despite DNA evidence suggesting that he was innocent, the Supreme Court allowed his execution to proceed. His DNA was not found on the murder weapon, raising concerns of a wrongful conviction. The jury that convicted Williams was predominantly white, of course, and there are claims that jurors were dismissed based on race. Not surprising. He entered an Alford plea in 2024, acknowledging enough evidence for conviction but maintaining his innocence. Prosecutors are accused of contaminating evidence by handling it improperly during the trial. And despite last-minute pleas from both Williams' lawyers and St. Louis prosecutor, the Supreme Court denied halting his execution. The family of the person he was accused of killing even came out and said they did not want him executed. At the end of the day, these people did exactly what they wanted to do. Exactly what they wanted to do. So, but this was a really sad situation. I I cannot remember the exact verbiage that he had on his last statement, but it was very simple statement that he put out. Let me see if I can find it really quick. But what are your thoughts on Mr. Marcellus Williams?
It's sad. This is one of the reasons why I think the death penalty should be done away with totally, because if you get one wrong, then the whole system is flawed, right? But all you need is what do they call it when you go on trial to find a person guilty? What do they call it? Not a shadow of doubt. It's something I can't think of what it's called right now. But when they are trying you and you could be found guilty, you know, and I'm just going to use a shadow of a doubt, but that's not the term that I'm looking for. I don't understand how that same thing could not be upheld when it comes to the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? Bell had filed for a motion to seek, you know, the turning of his execution, in months. And it said that he might not be the one who murdered Gail. That word might right there should be enough for them to have stayed his execution. Reasonable doubt. That's what I was looking for. Reasonable doubt. Just enough reasonable doubt should be enough to stay his execution. And with all of the things that was done and that was found and that was left out, and even there was an admittance of leaving a juror off because they was black. All of these things collectively should have been enough that this man should still be alive. Mm-hmm. On top of the fact that the victim's family was asking that he would not be executed. Mm-hmm. On top of the fact that the prosecutor who prosecuted the case was asking not to execute this man, but yet you still went and did it and you justified it. Look, for all the people that y'all have hung on trees, for all the babies that y'all done killed and y'all done raped, for all of the blood that has been shed of the children of Israel, of the sons of Jacob and the daughters of Zion, y'all are going to answer for this, man, for real. All you doing is just adding more fuel to the fire.
Ain't that true?
That's all they doing. Marcellus Williams should still be alive. Now, you could have made the decision to keep him locked up for the rest of his natural life.
Right.
But you did not have to kill him that night. Yep. Especially when you had reasonable doubt that he may not be the one that had killed whom it is that you said that he killed. So yeah, you're right. This one here was so sad. I feel bad for his family. And he maintained his innocence too. He maintained his innocence all the way through. But you have got to ask yourself the question, how many have they gotten wrong? How many have they gotten wrong knowingly?
Right.
How many have, because the way our justice system work is that if I can't find the true criminal, I got to find a criminal. Yeah. Somebody has to answer for it because somebody is going to pay for it.
You know, I became a First 48 junkie because that's a show that you started watching.
Man.
You know, I love a good crime show.
Right.
I love true crime stories.
Right.
You know, Snapped, Forensic Files. You know, those are some of my favorite shows to watch. But one of the things that I always notice in every single one of those shows is when the evidence is pointing towards, even if it's circumstantial, when the evidence is pointing towards somebody, they like to stay on that path.
Yep.
Right? The only reason we don't see them continue to drive it home is because it's on TV.
Right.
But how many of those crimes behind the scenes where they're saying to themselves, the evidence was pointing towards him. I really wanted to be him.
Right.
I really wanted to be her. knowing full well we don't really have enough
Right.
to make it be this
Right.
person, but because I don't like them, I don't like how they handle me,
Right.
I don't like how they talk to me, I don't like how they, responded to this. I don't like the fact that they lawyered up or wouldn't even talk to me because they get extremely pissed off.
Yeah, when they find out.
When they bring them in and they're like,
because they got to work harder now. They got to go back. They got to go back to work. Woken Token said something. Inflation is too high to pay for crime. And I'm assuming he's talking about keeping inmates in, paying for them. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. I was just about to say that. Yeah, they make money off of them jokers when they up in there. It's just like public school district. This is why they want your child to be present at a certain time. Exactly, by a certain time, because that's money. Yeah, they don't get paid if your child is not there. And if I'm wrong on that, you know what I'm saying, on what it is you're talking about, Wokotoka, just let me know. But yeah, so they murdered that dude. That was a murder, you know what I'm saying, which made them no better than whom it is that they call themselves executing. Is how I look at that. This has been great. Okay, my bad.
His last words were, "All praises be to Allah in every situation."
Okay, so he had converted over to Muslim. Yeah,
right. But at the end of the day, he was still humble. Like, he didn't go off on a rant, on a tangent. That's equivalent to it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. So. Yeah, man. With that being said, Ayo Ben Yahoo, we missed you tonight, man.
And Shaka Boom 80.
Yeah, we miss you as well. Yeah, we definitely praying for you guys. For those who have stayed here with us tonight, we want to say tada. We will be back next week, same time. The email is truthbetoldflexpodcast@gmail.com. We had some emails. We had some emails from some people that got with us, man, and watched the show. If you was listening tonight, we want to say thank you. Continue to support us. We got some great stuff coming down. We got some great interviews coming down as well. And hopefully next week, we're going to pray that the house of Ben Yahoo can get back to normal. And let's keep a prayer for that whole East Coast. It's so many over there that has been affected.
There's a lot going on in Georgia right now too.
Yes,
there's a lot of stuff happening in Georgia. I reached out to one of my family members to make sure he was okay. I haven't heard from him. He normally responds late anyway.
Right.
There's a lot going on in Georgia.
Yeah, it is. We got to keep. Yeah, we have definitely got to keep that side of the country in our prayers. And what our weather team here in Houston love to remind us of is that the hurricane season is still not over. They make sure that you understand that. So yeah, water company explosion in Georgia. Gonna have to look into that. Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, that's what the explosion I was talking about. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. These are plagues, though. I don't know no other way of saying it, man. The arrow has been shot from the bow and can't nobody turn it back. So, hey, if you ain't got it right with the Most High, you got time. Because when he woke you up this morning, in the words of Hezekiah, that was love. Hey, with that being said, I am Shia Yeshua Judah. But not Shalahaya with us tonight. This is our first episode back off our break. Truth Be Told Flex Podcast and twice out. Indeed.